Well, it's certainly the function that is the rarest in a dominant position, and I would also include the auxiliary position, because when you think about it, that includes 4 types: INFJ, ENFJ, INTJ, ENTJ. And the debate usually when we try to figure out what the rarest type is between those 4 types. Have you noticed that? Like, there are people who are strongly convinced that INFJ is the rarest type. There's people who mention more recent scholarship or research that seems to point at that ENTJ and ENFJ are rarer. Some people think that INTJ is the rarest type. It's not ultimately very interesting to really try to drill down, okay, which one is the rarest type, because we're talking about rare type anyways. It's a matter of, a few percentage points or even less than that. But what this reveals is, I think, that something that is just borne out by everyday experience. If you're not an NI user, you probably will not notice it in everyday experience. But if you're a strong NI user, particularly again, if you're an NI dominant, you're going to notice it. You're going to notice it because you could spend entire days, maybe entire weeks, not interacting with strong NI users. You could be interacting with strong SI users, strong NE users, strong TE users, maybe even strong FE users, yes, for sure, but strong NI users, they're quite rare, and it's always a bit of a special experience when that happens. And I think when we encounter a strong NI user in an environment that we know we're going to be routinely in, like in the workplace, for example, or an activity that we know is going to recur over time, we tend to find, again, I'm speaking as an NI dominant, we tend to find that we feel this nice warm feeling of reassurance and belonging. And conversely, when that is not the case, well, initially we don't think about it. I think it's not so common that NI dominants or strong NI users actively try to think, okay, I need to find other NI users. They just let things happen, but they do realize after a while if they feel a bit misunderstood, if there's a bit of miscommunication, if their energy resources feel depleted, they may well come to the conclusion at some stage that, okay, maybe it is that there's not a lot of NI dominance around me. In administrations, there's not many of them. In the private sector, there will be some of them. Same in the humanitarian sector. You'll find them often among writers, artists. There might be a train passing by soon, just warning you. There's a railway line behind the house, which is the main issue with this house. Otherwise, it's great. You'll find them among researchers, scholars. If you take all these professions together, they don't represent the majority of the population. And that is, it's also why NI dominants are hungry to meet other NI dominants online, because they know that in the online world, in the sense that is the surest way of access to people who have their type. And I wanted to conclude with a little observation about what I have called the adaptive submissive INFJ, the first type, in the typology, the first subtype in the typology of INFJs that I've developed in this book, principally. The Infinite Soul, which is a book that is recently out since May, still fresh out of the oven. Get a copy if you haven't yet. The link is directly available below. And it's about how to be an INFJ in the modern world. The modern world is often seen as hostile to us. How to find meaning, purpose, value, and a rich life altogether. And and if you have read it, but you have not left a review, I need more reviews, so please, for referencing purposes, it really helps. The adaptive submissive, I always talk about the INFJ being this type, being an INFJ that is really focused on getting along with other people and willing to kind of repress their NI function in order to achieve this, ultimately leading to an impoverished existence. But nevertheless, we can show certainly a strong degree of understanding and even compassion, I think, because often these INFJs are precisely the INFJs that are surrounded by non-NI users in their everyday world. So in a sense, it's so hard for them to find peace that I think they take adaptiveness in this particular scenario as the least bad option. At least they can get on with other people, even if it means repressing their function. So if you identify strong NI users that you get on with, do consider having them as friends. It's good to have at least some strong NI users as your friends. Otherwise, you could end up feeling quite isolated again, because this is a rare type to be. And you don't necessarily need a lot of them in your life, but some will certainly go a long way toward providing some solid support and encouragement. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a like. Don't forget that the predecessor to the Infinite Soul is the Ecstatic Soul. If you haven't got a copy, you can get it below. This is looking more at the inside of the INFJ mind, INFJ consciousness, and its existential manifestation. So it's a deep investigation of the type, if you're interested. And to keep the channel going, I have a Patreon page. If you would like to support my work, keep the channel going with me, if you like my videos, the link is right below. Thank you so much to my current supporters. Always need more. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.